Namaskara. This is a special video which will help you to create a path between your certified copies which you would have received from ICI for your November 24 attempt. From this as a base, how would you create a path to clear in May 25? So there are two aspects of this. The first and foremost is you have to do a very detailed diagnostics of what has happened because it is a culminative or cumulative effort of your entire final preparation till November 24. It's not just about 3 months. If you are given 3 attempts or 6 attempts or 5 attempts, it reflects your cumulative effects over the last 2 3 years, or at least the last 2 3 months if you're writing for the first attempt. So you need to start with a very detailed diagnosis and understand the root cause of why you would have failed, and then using this root cause analysis you have to create a revised and optimized preparation path to success. So if you don't do this, what might happen is you'll end up getting the same scores plus or minus 10%. You will be in the repetitive loop of failure and attempt because you're not changing anything. Repetition will not improve your learning. Please understand that. Just because you revise more or repeat more, it's not going to automatically help you cross the threshold marks. So this is the context, and I hope and I believe all of you would have done a very detailed analysis of your certified copies. This is the starting point. So the first and foremost thing which you should look at is how do you convert this insights into tangible outcomes. When I say tangible outcomes, your existing certified copies will tell you where you stand in each of the 6 papers, including the breakup of MCQs and also descriptive. So after evaluating and looking into a lot of certified copies, both of the students who have cleared and who could not clear, we have come up with a target mark sheet which would be ideal for most of the cases. It may not be the exact case for you, but largely this is a very good base target mark sheet. Okay, let me start explaining how we arrived at this and how you can make the best utilization of this. So number one, to begin with, MCQs are straightforward. So 30 marks in the first 5 papers and 40 marks in IBS. Together it's for 190 marks. The first and foremost condition is attempt all MCQs 100%. If you're coming back, it is a crime. It is a recipe to failure if you even do not attempt one MCQ. I'm telling it very clearly. This is a non-negotiable condition. It is not an assumption that you're attempting everything. It is a non-negotiable condition for you to clear. Okay. Once you attempt everything, you should be able to operate closer to 70% accuracy. When I say 70% accuracy, in certain subjects like IBS or AFM, you should be able to operate the higher level. The least accuracy you are given it to audit, assuming or looking at the papers where most of you are not able to cross 16 marks in MCQs or even it's lesser. So with focused efforts, it can get to 18. So depending on the paper, your MCQ aggregate should be around 70%. Ideally, out of 30 marks, you should be able to get at least 20. So that is exactly how we have framed, looking into the average scores of both people who have cleared and who could not clear. So that way, out of 190, you should be able to score 130. Okay. So out of 190, 130 is what your MCQ score with an average of around 68% accuracy. And attempt is non-negotiable. This is the most important part. Attempt, you have to attempt all 190, and this is what. So once if this pillar is set, once you are scoring on the higher side of 130, 140, you're sorted. Your mind can be very clear and sorted. This is one dimension. Now the second dimension of this, if you look at the descriptive, again, this is going to be hard. Now this assumption, when I say you have to attempt the entire 410 marks of descriptive, it may look difficult, but again, between increasing the attempt and increasing the accuracy, for example, if you're not attempting for 410, if you're attempting for 350, we have to increase the accuracy level to close to 60%, which is very hard. Please understand that increasing the attempt at the denominator is easier than increasing the accuracy. Accuracy improvement is extremely hard beyond what you already did, and achieving 45-50% is also hard. So another condition which becomes another assumption which becomes a non-negotiable condition is you have to attempt the entire paper. Let's say in some exceptional scenarios where the paper is extremely lengthy, if you have attempted for let's say 60 marks, then your accuracy should go to 60% at least, which will once again get you the same marks. If there is a decrease in accuracy, there is a decrease in attempt, there has to be an increase in accuracy, and attempt cannot be increased further because we already kept it at maximum. So two underlying assumptions and conditions are you're attempting the entire MCQs of 190 and you're attempting the entire descriptive part of 410. I hope this is clear. Okay, these are the two conditions. Now coming to accuracy, FR and AFM, one of the mistakes students are doing is you're not attempting the whole paper. Most of you are writing for 55-60 marks. Somehow the last 15-20 marks is going for a toss where you're getting zeros. There should not be a single sub question where you get zero. That way the denominator can be extended to 70 marks. And based on the level of attempt, most of you are in the 40% accuracy range, which should get to 50 to 55%, which will get you to this 35 marks and 39 marks respectively. Overall, 55 in FR and 60 in AFM, together 110 to 115. Okay, so 110 to 115 in these two papers together, if you're scoring 110, that is a decent attempt. Okay, this is something which will consolidate it. And coming to audit, I have given only 35% accuracy, given that the level of difficulty you find it. It can be more, but 35 is something which you should definitely get. Most of you are getting only 25%, where your average score is falling down to 15-16 marks. So this is something which has to be done. And 60%, the least amount of accuracy has been given to audit, given the difficulties you face, and you should be able to get 43. So if you can score 110 plus 40, so that is what will give you the safe score in group 1. But having a buffer is always important. So that's why if you target around 160 to 165, even with that 5% variation, you will be able to cross the border safely. Otherwise, the risk of getting stuck at 143 to 145, that is a risk which you are taking if you don't have the excessive border. But this is something which is practical and doable. I hope this summarizes our discussion for group 1 largely, where you are making sure there is one exemption in AFM, followed by 55 in FR, and probably getting closer to 45 in audit. This will seal the deal for you. Hope group 1 is clear. Coming to group 2, again, here also the fundamental assumption and condition is that you attempt everything. So for accuracy, earlier it was IDT, but last two papers in the trends, if you're looking at it, a lot of students are struggling to get good marks in IDT. So we revised the accuracy level of IDT close to audit. So even if you get 35% or 35% accuracy in IDT, still assuming you are going to get decent marks in MCQs in IDT, it can be 45. Let's say for you, if MCQ is difficult, if you want to get only 16 to 18, then you have to proportionally increase in descriptive. That modifications has to be made. This is a template which starts as a base, but the necessary modification you can always make it. So this will take your scores to 50 and 45 respectively in group 2 or DT IDT. So the idea is if you can get 100 in DT plus IDT together, that's a decent mark, at least 95 to 100. Then followed by IBS. I understand IBS is difficult for most of you. Last time, a lot of students have got only 40, 45. Some of them could not even clear IBS. But this is a fantastic subject where you have the weapon of not being able to memorize and still crossing that. So here you have to maintain the accuracy rate of 70% and this. So overall 320. Ideally, I would take it to 330 because 10% question is required. But practically, this is a doable score. So you look at the entire mark sheet, you can pause this video and check how it is and immediately create a target mark sheet for you. If you're not able to do it on paper here, most likely it won't be happening automatically in the main mark sheet. So please do this. Come out of your internal fears and do this. It is very important. This is a very difficult task. Here we do it for our students. But if you're watching this video somewhere, please do this. Okay. So this is the target mark sheet, which is based out of your analysis of your certified copies. Okay. This is the first step. Now, how do we create the path? Based on the papers, it's not only talks about your syllabus completion, like it's like almost like a horoscope. Okay, it talks about your syllabus completion, revision methodology, exam presentation, and also it talks about the mindset aspects, mindset and routine. The paper, the way you attempt the paper, the way you score marks. Let's say first or second or third, or the order of choosing the questions explains a lot about it. So one of the aspects which you have to work about is mindset. Specifically in mindset, there are two things. One is learning, which you have to do during the preparation. And the second part, when it comes to mindset, is the first part is learning. The second part is thinking. So what I've noticed is a lot of you are lacking thinking skills, which is required in the exam. In the preparation, you have to think less. During the preparation phase, thinking has to be less and learning has to be more. During the examination mode, there's nothing to learn. You have to think very aggressively and clearly. So people are doing the opposite. So that is about the mindset. When it comes to routine, the routine has to be less random. It should not go like this. It has to be stabilized. These are the two aspects. And coming to syllabus and revision, so here your learning process has to significantly improve by reducing the thinking part here. You think less and learn more using certain laws and layers of learning, which I'll explain in detail. Okay, so this is where you have to change. You have to change your learning mechanism. Otherwise, most likely you'll end up getting the same results. Please understand that. Please think about it thoroughly. Please take the help of whoever is available in your vicinity. Get some mentor who can help you regarding this. So presentation part comes into the later part, but syllabus completion and revision, which is concerned about your learning and conceptual understanding, has to be significantly improved. Now, coming to important concept of the mindset part, when I say thinking, your thinking is significantly impacted due to these three aspects. One is called stress, anxiety, and depression. Depression is because of what has happened in the past. You have to clearly delink the past. Anxiety is about the future. So the past and the future should be completely delinked. So you should not worry about next attempt. You should not be upset about the last attempt. You should be focused on your current preparation. So which creates some level of stress, but your focus should be on handling the stress instead of having continuous anxiety or depression about what has already happened. This is one thing which you have to consciously put in a lot of effort towards. And coming to the other two components of learning, so this is what I see at SU. I already mentioned multiple times. You should be good at all these skills: comprehension knowledge, application analysis, and evaluation synthesis. So most of the students are struggling here. This is why they're facing a lot of difficulties in handling papers like AFM and IBS. If you have to get to 60 plus in AFM or IBS, this is the skill which is largely required. If you're not able to cross 45, 50, this is a skill which is lagging in some other papers, especially in audit. Audit is largely application-based paper. It is not theoretical, it is application-based paper. So if you're not fixing this, it will lead to problems. So understand the nature of the skills and you have to work on this. And finally, the why, the big why of doing what you're doing. So your ability to clear your exam in one attempt or 1 year, and where you'll trigger your career progression towards 1 lakh per month, will make this journey of $1 million in 10 to 12 years. You can aim at achieving this in 10 to 12 years. Again, just by clearing CA, it is not going to happen. Instead of, let's say, 20 plus years, which people normally take if they don't do anything consciously, you're cutting short your settlement or retirement by almost 10 years by following a particular process. It's not just about this. Again, most of you will anyways get there. This is happening. But for you to go here, you need to work on all this skills which we have mentioned here, all the thinking skills and learning skills. So that is exactly why it makes all the more important to realign and refine your entire preparation process. And at some point of time, ideally, you should be able to clear the exam with the help of a pen. You have a pen. This says one last attempt, but all you have to have is pen, nothing else. Nothing else. Everything should come in your mind. Your hand, eye, and brain coordination should be able to help you clear this exam. And this is how you can become a CA in 2025. If you have the ability to write both, go for May. Or if you think it's already late, or if you're just getting started, do one in May, one in November. So this is exactly how we are handling it. If you are looking for our support in making your CA in 2025, you can just apply using the link below. We'll reach out to you. Again, our admissions process is happening in a step-by-step process. We have a lot of applications, so it will take time, but you apply and then we'll reach out to you, provided the application is filled with certain sense of sincerity and seriousness. I hope this video is helpful and useful. So get back to work by starting working on your certified copies, and this is the path for you to clear in May 25. I hope you understood in the right context. Watch this video twice or thrice for getting better clarity, and all the very best. Thank you. Namaskaram.